Good evening. I'm Dr. Fred Rouse, the Real Money Doctor, and it's currently Monday, August 10th. It's 7 o'clock, just a minute afterwards, and I want to do today's daily recap of events that affect the way you get, protect, and enjoy your money, your life, and your retirement. Now, the thought for today is it's all about choices, and we'll get to that in just a few minutes. For now, we touch base on the COVID cases because that's the biggest mover of the way that you live your life at this point in time. It affects you some way, shape, or form. Either you're a believer and you're wearing a mask and you're social distancing, or you're not and you think it's all a hoax. But either way, okay, you're affected by COVID in some way, shape, or form. So right now, the current COVID cases have finally topped 5,071,000. Okay, now we were last chatted on Thursday because I had to take Friday off. I had to go somewhere for a meeting. But since Thursday, we're up at 5 million cases right now, which is sort of a large number. Most people like round numbers, and that's a milestone round number. 5,071,000 cases. That's up 200,000 cases. 200,000 cases since we spoke last on Thursday. Now, the number of cases, again, that recovered are still basically at 30%, and you've had about a 3% chance of actually dying if you should actually be diagnosed with COVID. The deaths right now are at 163,275. That's up 3,400 people have died since Thursday when we spoke last. Again, 163,000 people have died from COVID. There is no conspiracy. All the medical examiners are not all gathering up in a room or going on Zoom on a teleconference and figuring out how we can just readjust all these death certificates. They'll say COVID. No. It's not happening, not worldwide. It's not happening in the U.S. either. There are 163,000 deaths right now, 3,400 since we spoke on Thursday. Okay, so this is real. If you don't believe it yet, you will. It's just a matter of time. But you can, clean that all you like. Okay, this is a real situation. People are dying. This is not a little flu, and you can try and compare it to anything else. Talk about the echo chamber that you might live in for news and whatever. Okay. As someone close to you gets COVID and goes through this, you will then become a believer. So I don't have any worries about that. It's just, annoying waiting for the time period to happen from, where people are now to when they get to actually believe what's going on. Now, California's had the number one spot for quite a while right now. They've had 561,000 cases right now, another 28,000 since Thursday. Your deaths right now are up to 10,382. They had another 500 people die over the weekend since Thursday. My apologies. Florida's got the number 2 spot. Texas is at number 3. New York is at number 4. Georgia's at number 5. Illinois is at number 6. Now, Arizona moved up. Arizona made the news and moved up to number 7. New Jersey at number 8, North Carolina is at number 9, and Louisiana has moved up to number 10. That would happen last week sometime. Now, Florida is a big mover. Florida is generally in the news, mostly because their governor, Ron DeSantis, aligns himself very, very strictly with Donald Trump. And that's okay. I have no problems with that. But from day number 1, Donald Trump has tried to blow this thing off like it wasn't real. And there are just a multitude of times where it's all going to go away. There's only 1 case. There's only 15 cases. It's going to go away in the spring. Everything's going to be open by Easter. There's just a number of these things. And you get tired of listening to them after a while. But Ron DeSantis is the governor of Florida, and he follows these things. But right now, okay, Florida is shattering its record for weekly hospitalizations. Remember, it's not the number of cases, it's the positivity count of the cases. Once you get an increased positivity, the next thing that happens is you get hospitalizations. Okay? Then after the hospitalizations, then you get the rise in the deaths. Okay? Just a matter of time. It's a sequence. Okay? It doesn't change. It's just a sequence. Okay? And if you try and deny the front end of this thing, the back end gets very unhappy. So you try and deny that the virus exists, or that wearing a mask and social distancing actually prevent the spread of it and can slow things down. If you deny that on the front end, you're going to increase cases, which is going to eventually within a week or two generally lead to increased hospitalizations, which in 2 or 3 weeks is going to increase the number of deaths in your state. And that's what's happening right now in Florida. Weekly hospitalizations are up, making it one of the biggest coronavirus hotspots in the nation right now. Last week alone, 621 people were admitted to hospitals. The Orlando Sentinel reported that. And in total, 30,785 people have been hospitalized in the state since the start of the entire thing. Back in January, February, for a lot of people, probably March or April for Florida. Now, these are devastating numbers according to Dr. Sita Khan. She's an epidemiologist and assistant professor of preventive medicine at Northwestern University Feinberg School of Medicine. And that's what she told NBC News the other day. Now, the blame, she says, should be laid at the feet of the Florida leaders who downplayed the danger early on and who have been slow to impose mask mandates and other public health measures. Now, this is going on in a number of states, where Georgia in particular is the thing that comes to mind. Okay. He recommends, but for some reason doesn't want to mandate. Okay. Georgia's numbers are not happy either. Okay. But he doesn't want to mandate masks. Okay. He wants to recommend them strongly, but doesn't want to mandate masks. I don't know what his particular problem is, folks. You need to wear a mask. Okay. You need to social distance. I've had people on my social, on my posts, social media say, well, you should just be talking about money. You shouldn't be talking about wearing masks all the time. Well, again, my goal is to help people get, protect, and enjoy their money, their life, and their retirement. And in order to be able to do that, it's really, really difficult. If you get COVID in your own event in a hospital, you can't enjoy your retirement. You can't enjoy any money at all. Okay. So this is a big deal. All these things work together. Wearing a mask is an important thing. Keeping social distance is an important thing. Now, right now is what this doctor had to say. In Florida, there has been an ongoing controversy about the severity of the coronavirus crisis. Okay. And that's what she said. There has been a politicization of the issue of wearing masks. This should never have happened, and now we're seeing the results. What a surprise. Okay. Now, overnight, Florida reported 4,155 new cases and 91 new deaths. The total number of cases as of Monday was 532,806. The statewide death toll was 8,314, and it's rising. Now, in terms of the sheer number of COVID cases, Florida is just behind California, which leads the nation with 560,000 cases. Now, there's 5 other top states, okay, in total number of cases and COVID deaths: New York, New Jersey, California, Texas, and Massachusetts. Now, the northeastern states, they logged in most of these cases and their deaths early on. Okay, remember, Cuomo in New York was going absolutely crazy, pretty much begging for ventilators. He shut the entire state down. He was doing daily briefings, okay, gave you real numbers. It was really interesting briefings. And they had refrigerated trucks backed up to hospitals to take care of the extra dead that they couldn't fit in the morgue. They were stacking them up there. Okay, the ER and ICU staffs were getting burned out big time when you're seeing not one death in a week or 2 or a month, but 2 or 3 deaths a shift. Okay, had a real impact on the healthcare workers. Okay. So this is happening, and it happened a lot in the early days in these northeastern states. But, you know, they got through it. And right now, they could be helping the southern states if they were interested in getting any help, but they're not. They want to just keep denying it. But social distancing and wearing a mask is a real big deal. Now, Governor Cuomo, okay, reported on Monday that out of the 54,000 tests that reported on Sunday, 476 were positive. That's less than 1% of the total. And on Friday, Cuomo gave the green light to start reopening state schools in the fall. Now, by contrast, Florida, Texas, and other southern states like Louisiana and Mississippi, they started experiencing a surge in new cases and deaths after they, at the urging of the president, began reopening back in May, just as coronavirus was just starting to crest in their states. Now, Governor DeSantis was a staunch Trump ally, and he's been on the receiving end of tons of harsh criticism for being slow to respond to the crisis, and most recently from Miami Beach Mayor Dan Gelber, who blasted DeSantis on Sunday in an editorial in the New York Daily News. He said, New York could definitely teach Florida a thing or two about the pandemic. So Gelber wrote. Now, when a hurricane is hurtling towards you, our community leaders stand side by side, laying out the facts. No one falsely downplays the potential impact of a storm to make people feel better. But for some reason, Governor DeSantis and President Trump decided that was the most important thing instead, to minimize the corona risk and let people know exactly what good jobs they were doing. And that's an interesting point. When you talk about Florida, they're used to storms. They get at least one, most likely 2 to 3 storms a year, major storms that come up and hit that state or about to hit that state. And for years now, the entire state of Florida, from the governor all the way down to local mayors, have all paid attention to the risks of a hurricane. They know what's going on. They know what it could do. And they act accordingly. And for some reason, they always seem to survive. They're pretty good at it after these years. They know when it's time to move, when it's time to take shelter, and what to do. And they're really good at it. Why now they want to deny COVID is beyond any reasonable thought process whatsoever. So I don't know why they're doing that. It's the strangest thing in the world. It's not going to go away. The warm weather's here. It's still here. We didn't open by Easter. We're still not open. We're still not open because people are not wearing masks and are not social distancing. If everybody wore a mask and a social distance, there's a good chance that by October, November, this could be pretty much under control. And all of a sudden, the economy would start to head back in a normal direction. Now, let's take this one step out here and let's go to the school situation. The president is still pushing for schools to reopen with in-person classes, even as the number of COVID cases increases among children in the United States. They rose 40% in the last 2 weeks of July. Now, the president for a long time has said, oh, kids are immune, they don't get sick, and And again, if you believe this nonsense, shame on you. I'm not trying to be overtly political, but there's a certain line of reality here, folks. And if you want to listen to the echo chambers, that's fine. Up until the point where it affects you directly. When it does, all of a sudden, you open up your mind a little bit more. I'm just asking you to open your mind a little bit sooner before it actually affects you that badly. Now, a new report from the American Academy of Pediatrics, Children's Hospital Association, found that more than 338,000 children have tested positive for COVID since the onset of the U.S. pandemic, with 97,000 new cases in just the last 2-week period in July. Now, most of the infections in this group occurred in the states in the South and the West. What a surprise. According to the report, which based the data on 49 states, New York City, District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Guam, all these states, all these areas, but it was the southern states and the western states. They didn't give a reason, but the testing for the coronavirus overall has risen in the United States. And the concerns about children, as possible spreaders of the virus, have sparked new studies showing that they can catch it. Now, what are happening right now? As more kids get it, we have more time to find out how it progresses in kids. They're finding that, yeah, kids are a lot less likely to die from it, which is a good thing. However, the younger kids especially carry a horrendous amount of COVID, almost 10 times as much COVID infection as adults do. And the kids are asymptomatic at the same time, which throws the people off dramatically. They don't know what to do about that. Because what happens is everywhere else you're testing adults as they go in a building, you're checking their temperature. If their temperature is up, oh, we're going to screen you out. If they even get that far to test kids with temperatures, it doesn't matter. The kids are asymptomatic. They're not showing temperatures, but they're still carrying a high level of this COVID virus. And they spread it amazingly well. They really do. And now that's what the American Academy of Pediatrics noted in a study that shows severe illness really is rare among the children. Okay, the CDC has noticed this and said that much. Okay, and they said that, you know, they're less likely to have severe symptoms, but they still haven't figured out what goes on with kids because they're getting strange syndromes after the fact, and those syndromes last for a while. Okay, and again, the temperature screening, it's really non-effective for screening for kids for school because the kids are asymptomatic. What the schools need is a rapid point of care testing on site. That would help dramatically. Now, the problem with that is it tends to be a little on the expensive side of things. So the well-off schools will be able to afford it. The public schools that before all this nonsense got started didn't have enough money for books to begin with, they're not going to be doing so well with their testing. Now, the Senate bill is still out there, and there's very little progress being made, almost nothing actually, on this next COVID relief bill, even though the House passed their version of this bill over 8 weeks ago. But it's sort of languished in the Senate. Nobody's done anything. Now, Dow was up today, almost 358 points, closed just under 27.8, which is nice news. You know, I don't know where it's going to go. And I would expect sometime this week for it to drop back down again to the 26 range. But we'll see what happens. But again, there's a disconnect from the Wall Street numbers and Main Street. And eventually, the two will get a little bit closer together because we got a consumer economy. And if this much of the country is out and out of work, okay, consumers aren't spending. And again, we've got a consumer-based economy. So, do you get in now? Do you get out? Do you stay out? I don't know. Okay. Have you weathered the storm? Is more coming? I don't know. Okay. Right now, as a lead up to the election, it's really getting interesting. Russia seems to be pushing Trump again. Okay. China seems to be favoring Biden, but at least they're not doing anything like the Russians are trying to push the outcome. The president continues to try to delegitimize the election. Okay. One of his major political donors, okay, that he put in charge of the post office, is trying to scuttle the post office from the inside. And that really brings us to the thought for today. Okay, it's all about choices. Most people think that really, really uber successful people do things incredibly well. And that's not really the case at all. What they do for the most part is the same things that you probably do, and maybe not even as good. In some cases, okay, what they do matters a little bit. Okay. But here's the one thing that really, really makes a difference. When it all comes down to what they do or they don't do, it's what they're willing not to do. They're willing not to consume mentally trash things. Okay. They're willing not to eat or drink trash foods. They're willing not to think, okay, and about certain things that distract them from what they want to do. They're willing not to say certain things, okay? And in order to become an Olympic athlete, they're willing not to do a number of things. It's just a big list of things that they don't do. Okay? Now, it won't come down to what you do. Okay? Everybody that's at that level is competing to get into the Olympics. They're all talented. They're all talented. Everyone's going to train hard, okay? So the talent, the training, That's not the thing that really separates the Olympic person from the non-Olympic person. It's the things they're willing not to do that will determine whether they make it or not. What are they willing not to consume mentally? What are they willing not to eat or drink? Okay. What are they willing not to think? What are they willing not to say? What are they willing not to do? And who are they willing not to associate with in order to be an Olympic athlete? See, they don't have the freedom of choice. Choice is actually an illusion. They don't have a freedom of choice, and neither do you if you want to be an Olympic athlete. There's a giant list of things that get removed from your choice list. If they do indulge in those things from that forbidden list, what's it cost them? The gold, the platform, qualifying for the Olympics, or even just making the team? Okay, they're simply not an Olympic athlete at that point in time. So you see, it doesn't really matter. You don't have that much of a choice. If you want to have a loving, respectful, intimate marriage, there's a giant list of things that are removed from your choice list. If you want to have the ultimate secure retirement that you've always dreamed of, then there's a giant list of things that get removed from your choice list. It's that simple. So if you want to discover how to be more successful, how to stop looking for what you need to do and start deciding what you're willing not to do to be an Olympic performer in your life, in your office, in your home, and in your retirement. You cannot mainline sensational news media. You just can't. It's tons of trash gets you aggravated every day. You cannot spend an hour or more every day on toxic social media. People will aggravate your soul, guaranteed, and will stop you from moving ahead. You can't binge watch The Walking Dead on Netflix. It sucks up all your time. You cannot hang out with college friends who are busy gossiping all the time. You simply cannot be preoccupied with the shiny toys of today, etc., etc., etc. It goes on and on and on. You no longer have those choices. Okay? There's a giant list of things that get removed from your choice list. You can't have them both. To gain one, you automatically eliminate the other. So your greater success does not lie in what you're doing more of. It's better to have an idea of what you don't want to do, what you're willing not to do. It's the better use of what you actually have. Your time, your money, your energy. Putting those to better use than what you were doing before. You have those choices. It's all being applied to where you want to go and what you want to do. It all lies in what you're willing not to do. If you don't go and spend your money on a shiny new car every 2 years or 3 years, then you have money you've saved. If you don't get tied up watching an hour or so of news every morning and then at night, you saved yourself 2 hours plus the aggravation. If you don't hang out with a bunch of losers, sorry, they're busy talking about everybody else. Okay, you hang out with people who are trying to move ahead, you improve yourself. If you don't waste your money on buying idiot toys, but invest your money in yourself for your own improvement, all of a sudden, things happen. So, do you want to be an Olympian? Do you want to be an Olympic husband, Olympic wife, or a mother? Do you want to be an Olympic retiree? Having the option to retire next 3 to 5 years with the cash flow that you'll actually need for your ultimate secure retirement is a choice. It really is a choice. It's that simple. Okay? Are you willing to move all the things that are stopping you from making the things happen? You're willing to move them off your list. Okay. So you don't have to worry about this choice anymore. Just get them off your list. These are things that are on your list. You can do these things. These other things you cannot do. If you want this result over here, you simply cannot do these things over here. It's that simple. It's nothing more complex than that. It really isn't. It's simply up to you. Okay? It's all about the choices. Now, I'm Dr. Fred Rails. the Real Money Doctor. My goal is to help you get, protect, and enjoy your money, your life, and your retirement. If you want to see how a little decision today can have a major impact on your retirement life tomorrow, and give you the best chance to retire in just 3 to 5 years, starting with just as little as $10,000, go to my site, drrousenow.com. See if I can help. See if it's of interest to you. If it is, schedule a call and we'll talk, and we'll see if we both think it's going to work for you or not. You can't buy anything on the call, just so you're just relax. You cannot buy anything on the call. You can't buy anything on the site. It's not come out and steal your wallet or anything else, your credit card. It doesn't do that. You can't buy anything on the site. You can't buy anything on the call with me. Okay. My only goal is to see, okay, do you really have a need or not? If you do, can I actually help you or not? And then 3, do we both think jointly that we could work together? If those things happen, then I'll send you somewhere and you can get it. But other than that, not everybody gets to that point. Now, again, I had to take off on Friday, so it's my first time back for the week. And again, I'm happy to be with you. I'm glad to spend this time with you, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow around 7 o'clock. Thank you.